Hey everybody, it's me, Miss WC. I have another lesson for you with some simple materials from around the house. This one is kind of a play off the old Victorian tin tiles that people used to have in their homes a long time ago. And so you could do any design with this one. I did an owl for this example, but the example I'm going to show you is with a sunset. So what you're going to need for this project is a piece of cardboard, probably medium to smaller size, depending on what you kind of want to draw. You're going to need some liquid white glue. You're going to need a pencil, and actually a dull pencil is going to be best for this. A really sharp pencil is going to poke through. A Q-tip would be handy if you have one, and a glue stick, and a sheet of aluminum foil, and some shoe polish. Whatever kind of shoe polish you may have. We had these lying around the house. They're kind of old, but any kind of shoe polish you had, probably dark brown or black would be best. And then I'm also going to use some newspaper just for my work surface. All right. So what we're going to do, I'm going to bring you down so you can see me work and we can work together. Remember that I'm going to go at a pretty fast pace, and you can always pause the video if you need to slow it down and you need a little bit more time. Okay, so first thing you're going to do is you're going to draw a picture of whatever you want to do. Remember, you're going to go over this with glue, so don't do really super small details. All right, so I'm going to just do it on the back just to kind of show you what I did, but I did kind of waves, and I did some waves down in the water, and then I did a sun, and I did a couple big rays, but not a lot of details, okay? Then when I was done with my picture, I took my wet Elmer's glue, or any kind of wet glue that comes from a bottle, and I went and I put glue on my pencil lines into my picture. So I did the waves, I did the sun, I did the rays. Okay, and again, not a lot of details, because the glue will, if you have a lot of small details, the glue will just end up puddling in an area, and it'll just look like a blob instead of all your small details. Okay, and then you need to wait for this to dry. Mine is almost dry. I still have a few little wet spots, but it is almost dry. So here's what we're going to do next. That might take a few hours sitting in the sun to dry, so be patient. You can come back to this project. All right, so I did mine earlier, and here we go. We're ready to go on to our next step. I'm going to take my aluminum foil and my glue stick, and I am going to cover the whole thing. I'm going to try to smooth out that line right in the middle. Okay, I am going to go back and forth and cover my whole sheet with glue. Now, it's kind of important that we use glue stick for this step and not the liquid glue, because the liquid glue might make more bumps in our final artwork. If you don't have a glue stick, you could use the liquid glue for this step. I would kind of put it all on and then maybe even spread it around so it's on really thin. That's the idea, is you want it to be really thin. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to put my artwork down, and I'm going to kind of very gently smooth it out. Okay, this is important. Don't rush, don't use your fingernails. I even like to use like my little fingers, and I kind of rub it around, kind of just get that glue stick and fill in all those spots, okay? And I am going to just really work this around, and I'm going to fold it just like a little Christmas package. Fold your edges around the back. just so we're done with that. And it's nice and neat in the back. You could put a little piece of tape there or glue, but it actually stays pretty well. So you're gonna just fold that up. Okay, now back to the front. Again, I'm gonna use my fingers to kind of really smooth out any of that glue that I had. Now we're gonna use our Q-tip. Okay, I'm going to use my Q-tip and I'm going to smooth in as much as I can around my details. So I really have a ridge where my glue is, okay? So I'm just going to really smooth out so you really can see where my glue lines are, okay? And this takes a little bit of time, so take your time. It is important that you don't rip your tin foil, okay? So I'm gonna just work my way around my picture using my Q-tip. If you didn't have a Q-tip, just continue to do it with your fingers, with your pencil. You could even take the eraser side because it's nice and rounded. You could take that eraser and kind of smooth it around, okay? And you're just gonna keep working around your picture, smoothing it out, okay? We are going to keep around in a circle. One moment, please. I got my little helpers here. So you're just gonna use your pencil or your finger and you're going to use your Q-tip and you're gonna smooth it all around. All right, now if you want, you can use your dull pencil and now you can add extra details with your pencil. And you can do little tiny lines. I would not press hard though, okay? You don't want to press hard. So I'm just gonna add maybe some extra little rays in here, going out with my pattern. Okay. If you had like mat board at home, it might be even better than cardboard because you wouldn't see this corrugated bumpy texture, but it's no big deal. I've did both of mine with cardboard and maybe you even want to play around with that texture in your artwork. So I'm going to add these extra little lines in here. Don't poke hard because you might rip your tin foil. All right. And maybe we'll add, what if we added a few little swirls down in our ocean? All right, I think that's looking pretty good. I think I'm going to, be done there. And I think it looks pretty good. I'm gonna just make sure I got everything, all my lines smoothed out. Okay, so now I am ready. I've got a good texture on my aluminum foil. And it's all smoothed out except for the bumps where the glue was, okay? So now I'm going to take my shoe polish, okay? This part is a little messy, okay? I'm gonna take my shoe polish, and again, if you had one like this, that might even be more manageable, okay? You might want your parents' help to do this part, okay? And I definitely would have you work over like a newspaper or something like that because shoe polish can get a little messy. This is really old. It is probably like 20 years old. It's been in our closet forever, okay? So I'm gonna take a paper towel and I'm going to smooth it in. And I'm going to keep smoothing it around and see how it gets darker down in our ridges. And again, shoe polish can be pretty messy, so make sure you have your parents' permission on this, and they might even want to help you. And so you can see like where we can see the bent of the cardboard, but that's okay. It just makes it even more interesting. And then I'm going to kind of turn my paper towel and kind of start to wipe some of that off. And so I'm just kind of left with the shoe polish down in the ridges. And I can always go back and add more shoe polish if I want. If I wanted a little bit more in some of these areas, I can just kind of keep playing around with this. Okay. And there we have it. All right, I'm gonna bring the camera back up and you can see my little helpers with me now. All right, so again, this is kind of a play off of the Victorian tiles that used to be in old homes, but it's a really cool design. You could do any design. I did a sun with an ocean for this one. And then my other example was a owl on a branch. Okay, so that is it for this one. All right, bye guys.